If you're wanting to establish yourself as a leader that people want to listen to, or you want to improve your communication skills, then this is the episode for you. In this particular episode, Sarah and I are looking at impact, the impact that your communication will have on your brand, your reputation. So what we want to do is share with you practical hacks you can implement immediately that is going to showcase your voice and enable your brand to shine.
So have you ever seen an email pop up from someone and think, oh, I'll get to that later, or I can't be bothered, or gosh, I wonder what they want. Or, you get that random meeting invitation that you weren't expecting and you think, oh no, what's going on now? Or you think, oh, I wonder what this is all about. I can't wait, I've just got to get to it. So how we communicate and actually what the experience is for somebody else is what is formed with our brand and our reputation. And those things always sit in front of us, and it doesn't matter who we are, and it fronts all of our interactions with people, whether it's written, verbal, whatever that's going to look like. But we can change the way people are going to perceive and receive that information and make sure that our communication style is really authentic as a leader. And we just need to make sure that when we look at what our style is and that authenticity, it links really beautifully with the culture that we've got and the culture that we're trying to grow and evolve. And that will then lead to that really high trust culture that Kirsten and I have spoken about in previous episodes. Now, there are loads of things, of course, that you can do to improve your communication as a leader, to uplift your brand and reputation. I'm just going to share three easy to implement tips with you. One is around taking that audience-centric approach. And so whether it's something written or whether we're going to communicate something like on a video, it's actually just taking that frame of what do they need to know and what's going to be the best way for them to receive that information, and then thinking about how to write or frame the information that you're trying to share with someone. The second one that I like to use is around some openness. And Kirsten's done this a few times, and it's around sharing those personal experiences. They really add value and weight to what we're communicating with people, and they just bring to life a topic that we're actually wanting to share. And that links to a third tip, and that's around warmth. We are human beings first and foremost. We are creatures that feel before we think, as opposed to think before we feel. So our approach to our communication style should be done with purpose and with the intent of genuinely connecting with people that we're reaching out to. So our action for you this week, or my action for you this week, is to really just take a step back and review the communications and style that you've got with your team, and actually maybe have a look at, here are some things that I've been working on, and sharing that information with the team so they get a little bit more insights into what's going on for you and the things that are happening in your world.
If we think about how communication has evolved over the years, we have a look back to the Stone Age, where people used to, in the caves, they used to put their beautiful stories. And if we look back in history, the art of storytelling is just phenomenal. The art of storytelling, it is sort of weaving its way through business, but it's not where it could actually be. So often we start our communication and our messages with facts, with information. It's not that exciting to the listener. So what we want to do is we always want to make sure that when we're communicating, that we're actually creating an emotional connection to that particular message, because it's through those emotions that people engage, and also that evoke memories later on. Now, when we're wanting to be impactful and you want to be a leader that people want to listen to, they will listen when you're telling them something that they can really connect to. So what I'm going to take you through now is a tip that you can implement very, very quickly. You can implement the second that you actually get off listening to this particular episode, and that is the art of storytelling. So very simplistically, what the 4-step process I'm about to take you through is actually going to be really easy for you to implement. So let's get started. Grab a pen and paper if you haven't got one already. So the first thing you're going to do is, when you've got a point in your communication that you want to get across, think about your audience for a moment and think what you would like them to do with that information. Now, when you start off with a point, that means you're very, very clear on what the concise message is that you're wanting to get across, the key takeaway. When you then put that bridge across and spotlight your audience who's listening to you, you then create a connection of why they should actually listen to you. So when you do that and you think about the point you're going to say, the audience you're going to be speaking to, you can then say, well, how do I create a hook or an attention grabber that's actually going to make them want to listen to what I've got coming up? So the way you can do that is you can use analogies, you can use stories, and that could be a story in your past or a story in their past or a story in the public domain that will re-emphasize your point, but will have a great connection to your audience as well. And then the next one that I'd really love you to do is actually just check that relevance of that. And then once you've got that and you've got the conciseness, you've got the point, you've got your hook, then what you do is you do what I absolutely love, and that's called storyboarding. So what you do is you grab a bit of paper, you grid it up, and then what you do is you put 3 words in each grid. Okay, so what you do is you put through your first 3 words that are going to come out of your mouth when you start talking to them. And then in the next grid, next little block, you write down the next topic 3 words. And so you just continue that through. Now, what this does is it really fine-tunes how concise your messaging is. So remember, start with the point, and then do a check-in with your audience in regard to, you know, what will hook in and grab their attention? What story, analogy could you use, question could you use that would really frame up your message to grab their attention? And then practice it and look for, make sure that it's that true relevance connection. And then storyboard it as 3 words per square on your storyboard grid. That will give you concise messaging that's on point, that's engaging. Try that out, and I'm sure that you'll have amazing results. Share with Sarah and I any, DM us or make comments below for any questions that you may have.
We hope you've enjoyed today's episode. We've got those really nifty tips for you. So Kirsten's talked about that storytelling and storyboarding. So get cracking with that action exercise. And don't forget to take a moment to have a look and share with your team about what I've been working on. It really helps lift that leadership piece and communicating with the team and building that brand and reputation for yourself. Well, we've enjoyed sharing those tips with you today, and we can't wait to share our final episode around communication in the workplace with you next week.